How the Tripura Rahasya describes psychic power, a sacred transmission on the invisible forces awakened by inner silence. Opening transmission. There is a kind of power that does not announce itself. It does not shake the earth or flash through the sky. It does not need permission, technique, or spectacle. This power arises not from effort, but from emptiness. Not from identity, but from its absence. Not from claiming, but from disappearing. It is the power of a mind so still that reality begins to unveil its hidden layers. A heart so silent that it becomes a vessel for the subtle whispers of truth. Today, we enter the hidden wellspring of one of the most mystical texts of the ancient world, the Tripura Rahasya. A scripture so subtle, so luminous, that it reveals the sacred origin of what we call psychic power, not as entertainment, but as spiritual consequence. Let us walk slowly, not to learn how to become powerful, but to remember what power truly is and how it awakens in the still soul. 1. The mystery of the threefold queen. The title Tripura Rahasya translates to the secret of the threefold reality. It refers to the three siddhis, not literal places, but symbolic dimensions: waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, body, mind, and beyond. The teaching is whispered through a dialogue, from the sage Dattatreya to his disciple Parashurama. But beneath the words, there is a deeper silence. The text is not about accumulating concepts. It is about dissolving illusion. And through this dissolution, a different kind of knowing begins to arise. A knowing not through thought, but through direct contact with the living field of consciousness. Psychic power, in this light, is never the goal. It is the fragrance of purification, a byproduct of inner transparency. As the boundaries between the three siddhis collapse, as the distinctions between subject and object melt, the seeker becomes open to realities previously unseen, not because they were far, but because the veil of self was in the way. 2. The power hidden in perception. According to the Tripura Rahasya, the mind is not a source of knowledge. It is a filter. It selects, shapes, and distorts the flow of reality based on memory and identity. This is why most people do not perceive subtleties. They are seeing through the lens of conditioning, not consciousness. The psychic faculties only awaken when the mind becomes still enough to stop interfering. When awareness becomes spacious, clear, and non-reactive, then the deeper signals of existence can be heard. The scripture explains that when this purification is steady, a kind of inner light emerges, a luminous intelligence that does not think, it simply knows. You may sense someone's emotion without words. You may feel the arrival of an event before it begins. You may know the direction to move without reason. These are not powers in the conventional sense. They are the original capacities of a being no longer divided inside. Real seeing happens only when the one who wants to see has vanished. 3. Psychic ability as the flowering of inner stillness. The Tripura Rahasya does not give techniques in the usual sense. It does not prescribe rituals for developing powers. Instead, it guides the seeker inward, into silence, into clarity, into the field where all techniques dissolve. This silence is not emptiness in the dull sense. It is alive. It is awareness without boundaries, without narration, without tension. And when the seeker abides there, truly abides, something begins to unfold. The text describes this flowering as natural sensitivity, like the way a lotus opens to light without being told, like the way water reflects the moon without instruction. In this flowering, the energies of the body, often called winds or currents, begin to harmonize. The breath deepens, the attention steadies, and the entire organism becomes a tuning fork for the unseen. Psychic perception is not the result of control, it is the result of coherence. When the inner and outer no longer oppose each other, then reality can be known directly. And from this coherence, the subtle powers begin to bloom, not as a show, but as an echo of harmony. 4. The dissolution of self as the gateway to power. Perhaps the most important thread in the Tripura Rahasya is this: psychic power does not emerge by strengthening the self, but by dissolving it. All grasping, all desire, all spiritual ambition must fall away, because as long as there is a someone trying to gain power, the very presence of that someone creates distortion. The text tells us, "The one who has become empty of thought, empty of self, perceives all without obstruction." This is not about becoming passive or blank. It is about becoming so still, so open, that life flows through you without resistance. From this emptiness comes spontaneous insight, non-local perception, healing presence, magnetic influence, communion with forces beyond the senses. But the wise never chase these things. They understand that the moment you pursue power, you activate ego, and ego always narrows the field. Power belongs to no one. It reveals itself to those who no longer claim. The hallmarks of true inner power. How do we recognize authentic psychic power? The Tripura Rahasya offers subtle guidance. 1. It is silent, not flamboyant. 2. It is spontaneous, not rehearsed. 3. It is compassionate, never manipulative. 4. It arises in service, not in display. Those who truly see do not advertise their vision. Those who heal do not claim to be healers. Those who know often say little, because real knowing is sacred. The Tripura Rahasya describes the knower as one who moves through the world like a breeze, barely seen, wholly felt. They do not collect followers. They do not seek validation. They are content in their stillness, because that stillness is the source of all that matters. If power is not rooted in presence, it will become corruption. But if it arises from purity, it becomes grace. Closing reflection. So what is psychic power in the light of the Tripura Rahasya? It is not a thing to get. It is a consequence of return to stillness, return to awareness, return to the uncarved, unborn light within you. In that return, the senses deepen, the field opens, the veil thins, and you begin to know not as a person, but as consciousness itself. The whisper before the word, the wind before the storm, the light behind the thought, all this becomes visible. To the one who no longer needs to see, let that be your path, not to perform, but to disappear. And in that disappearance, may you become the mirror in which truth reflects itself. Next transmission. In our next sacred offering, we will unveil the hidden current embedded in a mantra known to almost every seeker, the Siddha line hidden in the Maha Mrityunjaya mantra. More than a prayer, this mantra conceals a vibrational code passed from the siddhis, a luminous current that speaks not of death, but of victory over it.